Hello and welcome to Sports and Stuff. I'm your host Patrick Haggerty and I'm doing a solo episode today because I went out drinking with my friends, so I wasn't able to have anybody over because it's too late at night to have anybody over to film the podcast, and I wanted to do it. But I'm gonna keep drinking. That's how I'll make up for it. This will be my guest, is this Heineken Heavy. No Heineken Light over here. Definitely no Heineken Zero. Fuck that shit. And today, we're going to be talking about the Yankees because it is Monday, March 18th, 10 days away from opening day for the Yankees. The Dodgers and Padres start a little sooner than that, so we got Major League Baseball coming up this week, this calendar week. There'll be some Major League Baseball. Still got 10 days, so even for Yankees baseball, this is the last full week of no Yankees baseball, which is pretty sick, pretty dope. Yankees coming at ya. Carlos Rodon pitched today. Pitched 5 2/3 shutty, 5 2/3 shutout. Ball, no hitter. 5 2/3 no hitter, baby. 5 2/3 shutty. Threw 71 pitches. He has one more start before he needs to be ready for the regular season. Figure he's going to get it to about 80 pitches in that last start, and then he'll be ready to throw 90 in the on his first start, which is supposed to be the game 2 of the season, and you're off and running. Carlos Rodon, 71 pitches. That's the hope, right? Is that he'll throw 80 next spring training start, and then he'll throw 90 in the first start of the season? I don't fucking buy it, but that's the hope, right? What I feel like is going to happen is that they're going to have him throw not 80 in this. So I have a few different possible thoughts. So one is that maybe they will have him throw 80 in that second to last start, and then he'll be available to throw 90 in the first start of the regular season. But, just like a guy is available to throw 100 on your average start, they say, oh, well, yeah, if they're cruising, they can throw 100, but ultimately we'll probably take them out after 90, like a little after 90, because we don't want them to go over that 100 mark. So that's what 90 is going to be in the first start of the season. It's going to be what 100 normally is. So they're really going to start keeping an eye on him after 80, and then so if he's kind of laboring at 80, they'll yank him. Just like if he's laboring at 90 during the regular part of the year, then they'll yank him then. So what does 80 normally get you? You hope it's through 5. I mean, if he's pitching great, it's through 6. If he's pitching okay, it's through 5. Or good. I guess that's pitching through these days. 80 through 5 is good. But on a regular basis, 80, a good chance it's only going to get you through 4. If you're kind of just like even just having an okay to ish goodish start, 80 might only get you like 3 2/3, which is what the Yankees are all about. Is that to start the season they take guys out too early. But hey, we're being positive here, right? We got hope springs eternal. But Carlos Rodon pitched well, which is good. At least he's pitching well. If in his first start he throws 3 2/3, 1 run, and throws 82 pitches, and you're like, then I'm be like, all right, that's fine. That I would actually take it. That's how little I think of Carlos Rodon right now. Is that I'll take 3 2/3, 1 run, 82 pitches. But I would, as long as he pitches well, just pitch well. Everybody, wouldn't that be nice if everybody pitched well on the Yankees? So that's what I want. I want Carlos Rodon to pitch well, even if he doesn't pitch long in that first start. And that's what I picture him doing. I picture him going 3 2/3, 1 run, and you think, oh, that's a pretty good start. What a good starting point for the season. But then you have to overuse your bullpen in the second game of the season against the Astros, and in the game 3 you have Stroman, and Stroman is I don't know. Stroman is gonna I trust. I feel like Stroman's gonna be good. So I like that Stroman's going game 3, because I think that because you have Nestor Cortez going game 1 in the regular season, then Rodon going game 2, which is rough, and all of this is because Garrett Cole out for the first at least month, or more like at least month plus. So like I'd say him being back mid-May right now, it would be the best case scenario. Seems like. And what are the odds of that? What are the odds? I've been negative so far, but that's just how I'm feeling. It's just how I'm feeling about the Yankees. Which is all to say, the thought I had yesterday is I have all these negative thoughts. What's gonna heal them pretty quickly is just start the season. I'm done. 10 more days. Spring training has a very wide variety. It's very very different feeling at the beginning of spring training than it is at the end of spring training. At the beginning of spring training, I'm thinking, oh, thank goodness, baseball. At the end of spring training, I'm like, fucking end it. Just fucking start the season already. And that's how I'm feeling right now, is I'm in the mode of please just start the fucking season. I just want to watch games that matter. Especially, sometimes I'll be traveling while the game's happening. I could listen to it on the radio, but I'm not going to listen to a spring training game on the radio because I'm not a fucking psycho. But I would listen to a regular season game on the radio because I want to know what happens. I don't care what happens in a spring training game. I just want to watch it maybe, and even that barely. So I just want to watch it to watch baseball. A regular season game, I'm like on every pitch. I'm like, all right, let's get into it. Let's win this game. Let's win the series. All that. But man, these it gets old quick, especially when guys are getting a little bit dinged up. It's tough. DJ LeMahieu is hurt. DJ LeMahieu is injured, and he has a bone bruise on his foot. Seems like he's going to miss opening day. Go get an infielder. Can we not have Oswaldo Cabrera start the first month of the season, please, like he did last year, and we were the worst that we've been in 30 years? Go get a real infielder. Who's this guy? There's a guy who a lot of people are talking about. His name is Donovan Solano. He's a major league infielder who, hey, you go get him. He plays for the first, hopefully it's just 2 weeks, right? Maybe hopefully DJ's back quick. Then you have Donovan Solano on your bench. Not too bad. The guy is not signed. Go sign him. Heineken, go sign him. All right. But DJ LeMahieu, see, the thing is, DJ LeMahieu being out in general, not a huge deal. If anything, it might actually be an impetus for them to make a little bit of change in terms of who leads off as the season begins. Because DJ LeMahieu leading off is more of like hopefully DJ LeMahieu is our leadoff hitter. Wouldn't that be nice? Even though he probably shouldn't be. It should be Gleyber Torres should be your leadoff hitter, because Gleyber Torres is better than DJ LeMahieu, and his profile is at their best. Their profiles are similar, where they both have good contacts. They both aren't incredibly fast, but they can run reasonably well. They get on base a lot. They're just solid hitters to lead off in front of Soto and Judge. We'll get to Judge later. My thoughts on his little injury, but having Gleyber up there first, you actually have a guy who seems a little bit more able to take advantage of the good pitches that he's going to hit, because they're not going to be looking to walk whoever that leadoff hitter is in front of Soto and Judge. So DJ LeMahieu being hurt to start the season, hopefully it's quick. It's not good if it's long, but if it's for like a week, then maybe you get into a rhythm of, hey, maybe someone else is the leadoff hitter, huh? Maybe Gleyber Torres is the leadoff hitter, and DJ LeMahieu is just who we remember being a really good leadoff hitter, but isn't a really good leadoff hitter anymore, but still would be a really, really nice 7-hitter after, what is it? Oh, it would be different because Gleyber was batting 5th in the other version of the lineup. So if you have Gleyber, Soto, Judge, Rizzo, then it would probably be Stanton, then Verdugo, DJ. I mean, Glaber was batting in front of Stan in the other lineup where DJ was batting first. So that is the nice thing about DJ batting first, is that if DJ's batting first, it's like, sure, whoever's batting first, just do something and just get on base a good amount, and you'll be a valuable player, especially in front of Soto and Judge. But if DJ's batting seventh, that's a good 7-hitter, not necessarily a great one. Feels like the lineup actually shortens if you have Glaber batting first, in a way. But if Glaber's your better hitter and he has the leadoff profile in many ways where he gets on base and he has good contact tools, then you should just have your better hitter get more at bats, because if DJ's not hitting, then he's not hitting. Now, speaking of DJ, it seems like his feet are a problem. He has a bone bruise on his feet now, and it was his foot back in 2021 that made it so that he missed the playoffs. He was really good in 2021. Oh no, it was 2022 that he missed the playoffs. But he missed the playoffs in 2021 also. But in 2022 he missed the playoffs, and that was because of his foot. Like, it's just his feet are bad. I mean, he's a big long guy. Maybe his bones are long and shitty, but I don't know. His feet just seem bad. He's getting old. He's not. That was probably a bad contract. They signed that first contract. They signed him very good. Second contract they signed him, probably shouldn't have signed him to that. But hey, that's when you get pressured by all your fans to sign a guy to a contract. That's usually what happens. So DJ hurt for a bit. Go get an infielder, but they're not going. What do I think they're going to? That's a question. That's a question to pose to myself. Do I think they're going to sign an actual infielder? I would say yes. I would put it like 51% that they'll sign an infielder. Now the reason, or at the very least, I think there's a better chance of them signing an infielder in order to fill in the possible gap that DJ might leave, more than I think that they'll sign another starting pitcher to fill in the gap that Garrett Cole is going to leave. Because the reason why I think that is because, what's his name? They were looking at other infielders. What's the guy's name? Kike Hernandez. They were looking at him. They were looking at guys to fill in that backup infielder role already, which kind of shows you that they had that thought, and they desire a little bit more help in terms of that backup infielder spot anyway. And especially Kike Hernandez. Oh man, it would have been fucking nice if they had signed Kike Hernandez, huh? If now that DJ LeMahieu might be hurt for a little bit, if they had signed Kike Hernandez, that would have really helped a lot. And does Kike Hernandez? The reason he gave for signing with the Dodgers instead is he said, "Oh well, the Dodgers will have more bats for me because they have more platoon splits, whatever." He just said that they have more at bats for him on the Dodgers than the Yankees did. But now that DJ LeMahieu is hurt, does Kike Hernandez kind of look at that and say, "Oh well, maybe I should have looked at the Yankees players and realized that all of them get hurt all the fucking time, so maybe I would have had a little bit more of playing time there." Now, that's every team has some injuries, so he's probably thinking, okay, the Dodgers will give me a decent amount of playing time even before someone gets hurt, and then once someone does get hurt, then I'll get even more playing time. Whereas the Yankees, when everyone's healthy, he probably doesn't get much playing time, but then when the one guy gets hurt, he'll get some for a while, but even that'll be weird and inconsistent. So, fuck Kike Hernandez. He sucks. But moving on to the outfield, which is a weird way of transitioning into talking about the best player on the team, Aaron Judge. So Aaron Judge also has an injury concern that he's dealing with. Aaron Boone keeps saying that he's going to be back in the lineup tomorrow. He said, I think it's what is today but yesterday's tomorrow, right? I think that's Boone's thought in terms of what tomorrow means, or something along those lines, because that actually means that today is already tomorrow. But he says that tomorrow is a myth, right? You have every day has a tomorrow. So if you say that he's going to play tomorrow, tomorrow technically never comes because tomorrow is always tomorrow. So I think that's Aaron Boone's philosophy on when Aaron Judge is going to play, is that if he says tomorrow, maybe tomorrow if you look, maybe like the definition of tomorrow is more of a broad concept of the future. So he will play in the future, which, hey, he's year 2 of a 9-year contract. I guarantee he's going to play again on this contract. He's probably going to play pretty soon. He's probably going to play in like 2 days. But Aaron Boone just keeps saying he's going to play tomorrow, and it hasn't happened yet. So, but he does say he's going to. So today's Monday of this recording. It's Monday, March 18th. He says he's going to play Wednesday. Now he also said he was going to play last Wednesday, so now he's back to saying he's going to play on a Wednesday. And then, but also last Monday, he said he was going to play Wednesday. So every Monday, for the past 2 Mondays, he said he's going to play the following Wednesday. So far it hasn't been true. Will this one change? Will this one be a different one? And then he's going to play? Let's see. I hope so. I think, okay, so today's the 18th, so that's 10 days. He played a reasonable amount of spring training games, and probably enough where if the season had started so he played last Saturday, I believe. If the season had started that following Sunday, the very next day, would he have been able to start the season? He probably would have been able to like DH and maybe have to be pinch run for in his last at bat, kind of thing. So is that kind of where he is now? But also he had to ramp down. He hasn't played in a week. So can he play right now? If need be. If need be, could he? And not just, my stomach doesn't hurt anymore. That's what he got injured, is his abdominals. It's not about just that his stomach isn't hurting. He needs to now ramp back up. He was already not quite ramped up to start the season at the time. Now he is a little bit even less ready than that. And if he starts Wednesday, then that's 8 days, which he's not going to play every single game. You figure if he can play that first game DH, maybe, and then day off. So that's 2. So there's 6 more. So DH, day off, outfield. So that's 3. Then day off. Then outfield again in day 5. Then outfield. Then DH the next day. So that's 6. Then day off, or maybe then 7 would be outfield again. So he goes outfield, DH, outfield in days 5, 6, and 7, and then he has a day off again in day 8. Then will that do it? Will that allow him to play? He needs to be able to play 3 days in a row. That's for sure. That's the minimum sensation that you need. And maybe they will just have him DH every other day for the first week of the season, which is fine. He's Aaron Judge. You just need him in the lineup. But yes, we'll see. Wednesday feels like that. What I just described seems like the minimum of what he needs to do. So Wednesday, March 20th, will be 8 days, a Beatles week, as some call it, until opening day for the Yankees, which feels like the 20th is that mark of, if he doesn't play then he's going to be limited. Legitimately limited. I think he's already going to be limited. He's going to, maybe he'll DH opening day? Ugh, that's rough. But wait, but then DJ plays, if DJ is out, who plays third base? as of now. It's Oswaldo. Yeah, none of the outfielders can do that. So if Judge needs to DH, then Stanton sits. So in game 1, there's a good chance that DJ is going to sit and Stanton's going to sit. So you're going to have Oswaldo Cabrera and Trent Grisham in your opening day lineup because Aaron Judge might need to DH, and if he needs to DH, then you DH him and you sit Stanton, which would mean that you would have Grisham and Oswaldo Cabrera in the opening day lineup after thinking that that the offense was gonna be a whole lot better. Now it's still gonna be a whole lot better. You got Soto in there, you got Verdugo in there. Trent Grisham's a Major League Baseball player, so even him being kind of the next level down of what your lineup could possibly be is not so bad. But less than optimal, because what would that be? That would be. You look at the lineup, that would be Glaber, Soto, Judge, Rizzo. Stanton's not in there. Wow, that's rough. That right away, that's just like, what? Damn it. Right away, that's like, fuck. So I guess Verdugo might bat 5th, but then that's lefty. Okay, so Verdugo is batting 5th. You would bat, who would bat 6th? So 6, 7, 8, 9. Would be some combination of whoever the catcher is, which you would think it's gonna be Austin Wells, and Trent Grisham, Anthony Volpe might bat 5th in the opening day lineup because just for lefty righty purposes. So you might have Anthony Volpe batting 5th, then 6 would be Verdugo, then 7 would be Austin Wells, then 8 would be Oswaldo Cabrera, then 9 would be Trent Grisham. What a fucking piece of shit lineup that would be, huh? Top 4 would be good. That'd be nice. You get to see the top 4 that you envisioned, and then everything else, and then the rest of the lineup would be really, really upsetting. So that seems to be a legitimate possibility because Judge DHing game 1. Though, if you're gonna have him do some semblance of a every other day DH, then you might as well play him in the outfield game 1. But also, you might as well not, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether he plays outfield in game 1 or outfield in game 2. So, we'll see. Aaron Judge, good chance he's going to have to be in some kind of hybrid position because he's only going to have 8 days until I bet it'll be man, what a fucking mess. So Judge, do we think he's gonna play 2 days in a row in the outfield to start? No, he shouldn't. At this point, he's the most important player on the team. So moving on. But you have Garrett Cole is also injured, but he's really injured. So Aaron Judge is going to be in some like wonky role of DHing a lot and maybe playing more right field than we expected. But Garrett Cole's actually out. So Garrett Cole's out until the middle of the first month. Now this is something I was talking about the other day with my brother, who's really cool and also a Yankee fan. And we were talking about the Garrett Cole injury and how the Yankees already did not have good pitching depth and how now they don't even have a 5-starter. Luis Gil? Luis Gil's going to start game 5. Come on. Luis Gil? He's not a prospect. He's not going to be able to give you innings. He's going to be ramped up to be able to throw 4 innings, and he's like a quadruple A minor league guy. Unless he's the type of guy who you say, "Oh, he's not a prospect. Let's see what he has." Why do they do that with the bad pitchers? With the pitchers who they don't really trust in, or who they have trust in? They don't have trust in the guys, so they think, "Oh, right, let's see if he can throw 100 pitches." That's okay. I get it. So it makes sense in a way, because you want to protect that pitcher, or you want to protect the pitcher who you have trust in. So you don't throw him a lot of pitches. So you don't get to see the pitcher who's good throw a lot of pitches. You get to see the pitcher you think, oh, well, this guy's not in our long-term plans. So we might as well let him pitch really long and see what we can get out of him. That it's very obnoxious to watch. It's very value-driven in terms of how sports business works. But it's very upsetting. Luis Heel, Game 5 starter for the 2024 Yankees, who have big-time World Series aspirations. Back. All right. Are the Yankees going to sign a pitcher? So I said that it seems like the Yankees are pushing to sign an infielder. They were looking hard to sign Kike Hernandez. Now, the Yankees, very annoying in the way that they operate, in that they went to sign Kike Hernandez probably just because they liked him and the value seemed appropriate, right? That's why they go and try to sign a guy like that when the team is more or less set. They think, oh, let's add this guy. They didn't get him, so they're not going to go out and pivot and sign somebody else. Because they're not just going out to sign someone to sign them. Now, you could say, so what I just said sounded very logical, right? You don't just do something just because you can't do something else. You do the thing that you think is going to work, and if that doesn't work out, you shouldn't just jump to the next thing, jump to conclusions and overreact and do something else just because you weren't able to get what you wanted. But isn't the reason why you were looking to get a guy like Kike Hernandez, or isn't the reason why you were trying to do that first thing, is because you needed it potentially? You seem to need it. So the Yankees admitted to some degree of needing a backup infielder in some way, to some level. But now that they weren't able to get the top guy on their list, they now pivot to or they don't pivot and they just stick with what they have. Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me? It seems to be what you're telling me. That's my assumption. I mean, my assumption is always that they're just not going to do anything these days. These days, my assumption is that they're not going to do anything. But to be fair, and hold on a second as I take a sip of this beer. I didn't think that they were going to get Caleb Ferguson, the reliever who they traded for from the Dodgers. They made a nice little trade for Ferguson when they needed a reliever. They needed any reliever. And they were right. They needed any reliever, and they got a reliever. They got a guy who is a legitimate setup man, not a big-time legitimate setup man, but he's a legitimate reliever. Who, if he's pitching the eighth for you, you're like, all right, good. Like if he's like your fourth or fifth option in the bullpen, it's totally acceptable. So they went out and did it. And before they did the Caleb Ferguson trade, I did not think that was going to happen. I thought that they were done. I thought they weren't going to sign anybody, even of that ilk, let alone someone who maybe they should have signed Hader or something, but one of the big guys. But they at least signed someone who was good, or traded for someone who was good. Now, it seems like they pretty badly need another starter. They already kind of needed a starter. Now they badly need a starter, because if you kind of need a starter just for depth, and then your depth is tested immediately, and so now your depth's even worse because your depth has now been used slightly because you lost your best starter. It's not only depth, it's also like top of the rotation depth. So you no longer have your best pitcher. So now your second best pitcher is now your best pitcher, and your third best pitcher is your second best pitcher, and et cetera, which leads to you having to use. It's such a annoying situation because the Yankees didn't have enough pitching before Cole got hurt. So now it's showing right away that they have these quadruple A type guys who are going to be relied upon to pitch the entire season. They're going to pitch pretty well, probably, because they're major leaguers and they have talent, and they're going to pitch pretty well, probably for the first 3 or 4 starts of the season. And there's a chance that things are going to work nicely for the first month because the Yankees are pretty good at developing pitching these days. At least for short bursts, they're pretty good at developing pitching, and also their hitting is very likely going to be very, very good because you have Juan Soto and Aaron Judge in the same lineup. So they're going to cover up a lot of warts, and they're going to be a good team. They're not going to be a great team, but they're going to be a good team because their offense is really good, and they're going to figure out how to utilize a guy like Luis Heel and make him trick the opponents that he goes against for long enough where you think, oh, maybe we were right. We didn't need another starting pitcher this whole time. We already had, everyone questioned our depth, but look at how great our depth is. We have this guy, Luis Heel, and we have, I'm messing with Luis Heel a lot, but they have, and Luke Weaver and what's his name? Warren, and we have Will Warren, and all these guys, they're really pitching well. And it's going to be a month and a half into the season, and Cole is going to have a setback, and these guys are going to have to pitch longer than we expected them to, and we're going to say, oh, well, at this point in the season, there's really not many trades that you can make. But obviously, you could have made those trades earlier on in the season or during the offseason. You could have signed a bunch of guys, but now you have to pitch the guys you're pitching. And but you went into the season with this depth to begin the year, so you just don't have enough pitching. As when you get into just a little bit into the season, into May, into early June, and some of these pitchers who, last year you had Randy Vasquez and you had Johnny Brito, who, hey, they pitched well at times, but then the league catches up to them pretty quickly because they have like 2 pitches, and that might be enough to pitch well once. Also, you might even be able to maneuver the rotation where at the beginning of the season, a lot of times the 5th starter doesn't have to pitch very much. The 5th starter a lot of times pitches like twice in the first month. And even aside from that, it becomes even that much easier to pitch them against the right opponents. Even, what's his name? You have whoever the 5th starter is going to be. I won't name names anymore, but whoever the 5th starter is going to be is going to go against the Arizona Diamondbacks in the first game of the season. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, while they made it to the World Series last year, were like one of the bottom half offenses in baseball. So their offense isn't great. So there's a good chance that he's going to pitch, that whoever that 5th starter is, it seems like it's going to be Luis Heel, is going to pitch against the Diamondbacks and is going to pitch like reasonably well against the Diamondbacks. And it's going to trick people into thinking, or it's not going to trick that many people into thinking, but it's going to make the Yankees feel like they were right in the assumption that, oh yeah, we're good. We know how to develop pitching, and these pitchers are good now. We didn't need to sign anybody. We already got them right here. Just sign a major leaguer. These guys are going to get hurt anyway. These guys are going to pitch. You had an injury to a guy in Garrett Cole that you did not foresee at all. You did not foresee that he was going to get injured at all. Carlos Rodon, in his best seasons, gets injured all the time. He misses 50, 60 innings a year in his very, very best seasons. Nestor Cortez is somebody who has not pitched more than 150-something innings his entire career, and he's only done that once. I think he pitched over 100 innings once in his whole career. So and then you have Clark Schmidt, who's actually Clark Schmidt. I feel like is going to be pretty good, but and then I think he's going to be. I think he's a strong pitcher, and he is young and he's legitimate. I think he's actually going to have a very good season. I will say that. You also have Marcus Stroman. So this, I'll talk positively for a second here about the Yankees pitching. You have Marcus Stroman, who I think is also going to be quite good. So I think people are still kind of clouded by the fact that Cole was ever in the rotation. If this was your rotation going into the season, if Marcus Stroman was your ace, and Carlos Rodon, after the season that he had last year, was your number 2 starter after Marcus Stroman as your ace, and then you had Clark Schmidt is your 3, and then Nestor Cortez is your 4, who just can't be trusted. He had 1 good season, 1.5 good seasons, and he's just, you can't trust him to be somebody who can have a really full, very good season, especially when you don't have Garrett Cole. Now, when Garrett Cole was in that rotation, the high end was there. The high end potential was there. But without Garrett Cole in that rotation, it's tough to look at. That's a tough rotation. That's a tough rotation right now. I think it's actually worse than a lot of people are giving it credit for at the moment. I think people are getting clouded. I think I am actually. I think I'm getting clouded by the fact that Cole was ever in the rotation, where I think, oh yeah, well, the assumption is that somebody's going to get hurt. The assumption was never that Garrett Cole was going to get hurt. The assumption was that Carlos Rodon or Nestor Cortez was going to get hurt, and then you would have to fill in those starts with some reasonable depth in the starting pitching department. Now you are looking into replacing Garrett Cole's production, which not only was he awesome last year, and not only is he just generally great on a regular basis, he also pitched a lot of innings, which helped the next day's starting pitcher, or at least helped the next day's bullpen, which helps the team account for the next day's starting pitcher potentially not going very many innings. Where Garrett Cole was the fucking man. Garrett Cole has been the man ever since he's come to the Yankees, where he was pitching every 5th day. Even if there were off days, he was regularly pitching every 5th day. He was pitching 32, 33 starts this season. He was throwing 200 innings. He is the fucking man. Losing Garrett Cole is an enormous deal, and the Yankees need to go get a starting pitcher. They need to go get a major league starting pitcher to replace some of the innings. They need somebody who can pitch innings. Luis Heel or Will Warren or Luke Weaver cannot fill in even close to what Garrett Cole does. They need to have like a legitimate long man on top of another starting pitcher in order to come to some kind of 60% to 70% connection of what Garrett Cole offered to the team, and he was saving the bullpen so much. He's the fucking best pitcher in baseball, and you're really just going to pitch with a bunch of rookies. That's rough. But now I'm going to talk positively. Carlos Rodon looked very good, and this is a thought that I had, and I've had this thought a few times, and I will say it's been very negative, and I'm going to angle back into a little bit of negativity in a little bit. But I have this positive thought is that I think that Carlos Rodon is actually going to take it upon himself to be the ace of the Yankees and to be what we signed him to be, which is a legitimate co-ace to Garrett Cole. Now he would not be a co-ace. I guess he would be to some degree because him and Marcus Stroman would be a reasonable co-ace situation as long as Carlos Rodon is as good as he fucking was with the White Sox and the Giants. which is really, really good, has one IL stint, that's a co-ace. A guy who throws 130 great innings, that's a co-ace. So if he does that, great. Then he is a legitimate 1A. Hey, yes, he's pitching great. He just gets hurt for 3 weeks in the middle of the season at some point. Great. Co-ace, totally. I think there's a big part of me feels like once Cole went down, something clicked in his mind. He's like, I'm the ace of the New York Yankees. And so now he is going to figure something out, and he is going to be that guy until Garrett Cole comes back. I think that when Garrett Cole comes back, I think Carlos Rodon is going to be great for the first 10 weeks of the, not 10 weeks, for the first 6 weeks of the season until Garrett Cole comes back. Hopefully Garrett Cole comes back. If he doesn't, then maybe Rodon will be good all year. But when Garrett Cole comes back, I feel like Carlos Rodon will lose that edge, and then he's immediately going to stop being as good. So it's just going to be a mess. That's what I feel like. That's my worry at the very least, is that it's going to be this big mess that has been happening for years with the Yankees, is that they can never have nice things. They have one thing goes right and something else goes more wrong than that first thing went right, and that I think is going to be an issue pitching wise. Now a lot of this is going to change once the season starts, and I'm going to be like, fucking let's go. We're the best team in baseball, and we're going to win the World Series. Now, but I will say hitting wise, I think as long as Soto and Judge are in the lineup, I think the hitting is going to be awesome. I will say that. I worry about the pitching, but then again, starting rotations are funny because lineups are lineups. You have your leadoff hitter leads into your 2 hitter, leads into your 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Your rotation, your one starter's pitching one day. Yeah, to some degree, the bullpen usage affects the game as a whole the very next day. But in terms of whether or not one pitcher pitches well one day to the next, they have nothing to do with each other. If Gleyber Torres is leading off opening day and he walks to start the game, that's going to help Juan Soto. If Nestor Cortez pitches well game 1, that'll help, and pitches 6 shutout innings, and then the bullpen just, bop, bop, bop. I don't know if Canley is going to be healthy, but Canley, Loizaga, Holmes, boom, done. Game over. Yankees win. If that happens, that's good for the Yankees, but that has nothing to do with Carlos Rodon. Now, the idea, if you want to go into the idea of it being a benefit to him because he doesn't have to go as far into the game in order to get a pitcher win, which pitcher wins, they don't matter. RBIs, I think, matter. Pitcher wins are ridiculous. That was a bizarre rule that they created whenever they created it. RBIs, runs batted in. I'm a defender of runs batted in. I'm gonna do a whole show about that one day. I am. That runs batted in. I'm a big defender of runs batted in. Okay, I'll start it right here. Batting in runs is the entirety of the game of baseball. That's what you're supposed to do in baseball, is bat in runs. To say that runs batted in don't matter is fairly ridiculous. I mean, like as a counting stat, they want to say, oh well, it's based more on on the team. That's what they say about RBIs, right? About runs batted in, is that it's based more on the team, because if your team is getting on base a lot in front of you, then you're going to have more opportunities to bat runs in. But if you have those opportunities and you're not batting them in, then that means that you're not a good hitter. Now, speaking of such things, where We're talking about wins. Rotations. But yeah, that's an interesting thought, that if I do say so myself, that lineups kind of affect each other, rotations don't. Now, if you take each individual pitcher, this is me talking positively about each individual pitcher. Let me do it. I'm going to do it right now. We have Nestor Cortes pitching game 1. I'm excited about Nestor Cortes pitching game 1. I am, because I think that actually works well for his mentality as a competitor, because Nestor Cortes is the kind of guy who I think brings it a little bit harder when he's given that little bit extra bump. So, and even to that point, I wonder if that'll kind of carry him a little bit deeper into the season, because he got to start game 1 of the season, and then he'll just keep kind of with that momentum, and he'll say, like, you know what? No, I'm the fucking man. I'm the fucking man. So I do think that Nestor Cortes is going to pitch well in game 1, or at the very least, okay, as they say, I don't think the moment's going to be too big for him, so I think that's going to be good. I think that was a good choice, or at least it worked out well. I think their choice was Marcus Stroman, but I think Nestor Cortes, I think it worked out well that it was Cortes. Is like, you know what? Yeah, this guy, that's what he does, is he pitches well in big moments. He pitched really well in the 2022 playoffs, 3 days rest. He was the fucking man. So I think that worked out well. So Nestor Cortes, what do if I'm thinking positively, I think that him starting game 1 is going to be really good for him. I think he's going to use that and build into the season, and it's going to be a really positive thing for him, is him pitching that first game, and it's just going to pump him up, and I think he's the kind of guy who pitches on vibes, as the kids say. I think he pitches on just chutzpah, and so pitching that first game of the season, I think is could carry him a long way, like many starts, and hopefully it at least carries him until Cole comes back. Let's say that. Let's hope for Nestor Cortes is going to pitch really well until Cole comes back, which is hopefully mid-May. Okay? Game 2 starter, Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon, again, I really do think that he's going to bring it while Cole is gone. I think something clicked. Cole went down, and the very next day, Rodon pitched a really nice spring training game and just looked that little extra bit of sharp. And then 5 days later, he pitched this 5 2/3 shutout no-hitter thing that he did, and he does look very good. He's good. He throws really hard. He's a lefty, and he seems healthy. That'd be great. And it seems like the beginning of spring training, he was trying out some stuff, and now he seems to know what he has to change up what he's doing, but change up literally. I think that's what he's throwing as his third pitch now. Other than it's not just fastball slider, which is great. It seems like he is primed to show what he was signed for. Is he going to be as good as he was? Is he going to pitch to that sub-3 ERA? I don't know about that, but I think that there's a really good chance that he's going to be good. I think there's a really good chance that Rodon is going to be legitimately good. You know, like mid to high 3s ERA kind of thing, where he's going to get. I think he's going to lit up sometimes, but I think he's going to be really good sometimes also. I think he's going to be I think he's going to be a really good 2-starter. Might need more than that, but I think he's going to be a really good 2-starter. But that's good enough. If the Yankees hitting is as good as I think it's going to be, if he wants to do something like that, that's going to be really nice. Marcus Stroman. If anything, I'm trying to temper my expectations of Marcus Stroman a little bit, because part of me thinks that he's going to be awesome. Part of me thinks that he's going to dominate, and especially his first starts against the Astros, I think he could really make himself a guy who a lot of Yankee fans really like if he pitches really well against the Astros, and then he's immediately pitching the home opener. That would be pretty sick. If he pitched like 6 inning shutout against the Astros game 1, and then he comes home for his next start as a Yankee, and then everyone's just like, fuck yeah, dude, this guy rules. A big part of me thinks that he's going to be awesome. And I think that he's going to be well protected, and I think the hitting's going to be good, and I think eventually they are going to kind of surround him with some better options around. Again, pitch. Everybody needs to just light it up until Cole comes back. That's what it feels like right now, and that actually makes me feel a little bit more confident going in. Is maybe that's going to be a little bit in the back of their mind. Is, hey, let's just keep it going. Let's just keep strong until Cole comes back, and I think so. Last year Stroman had that really good first half. Have that really good first half again, and then we'll figure it out from there. And hopefully maybe we'll make a trade, something like that. Cole will be back, so that's the hope. And again, I would say my real feeling is I think Stroman is going to be really good, really good. I think there was a chance when Cole was around. I was thinking I think there's a really good chance that Cole is going to be awesome as usual, and then Stroman's going to be like a stud 2-starter. Now, the hope is that, and what I think it will happen is that Rodon is going to kind of bring it a little bit while Cole's gone. Stroman's going to be great, and so they're going to be Are they going to be a legitimate 1 and 1A, or one? Whoever the 1 and whoever the 1A is will be something that we will have to wait and see. Feels like that's possible. It feels like there's still a possibility of it being a nice little rotation. Can it be a great rotation without Cole? It feels hard to think that, but it feels like there's still a chance that it can be a nice little rotation. The 05 White Sox won the World Series, but the 05 White Sox was just a rotation of 2 starters. Can the Yankees be a rotation of 2 starters? That would be lovely. That would be fantastic. It makes me yearn for the days of 2 weeks ago when Cole was still in the rotation, where it was a stud ace, the best pitcher in baseball, and also a bunch of 2s behind him. So that I wish we still had that. Now, it was probably more like guys who I was happy to be 3s. And then after that, you have Clark Schmidt. And I'll say again, Clark Schmidt, I feel like he might be the guy who I'm most looking forward to pitching in a lot of ways, in terms of I think that he is a legitimate young stud starting pitcher where he's gonna go, his inning count is gonna go up and his ERA is gonna go down a little bit, and he's just gonna be like a solid 175 inning 4 ERA pitcher. We're just like, yeah, fucking Clark Schmidt, and we just have him. He's just our guy for the next few years, and he might even have one of those really nice seasons, like what Phil Hughes did in, what was it, 2011 or something like that, or 2010 maybe. So something like that, where he's just going to be like a nice solid pitcher, and then even have 1 or 2 really good years. And so I think that this year is going to be a jump. It's going to be a nice little jump. 175 innings, 4.06 ERA. That's what I think. That's what I think Clark Schmidt's going to do. 174.1 innings with a 4.09 ERA for Clark Schmidt. And then Luis Heel and company for the first few weeks. Just have a great start. And can the Yankees just send them down like they were doing? Have it so as long as they just treat that rotation spot have a great start and then immediately send him down. Do that. That I'm okay with. So if they want to do that, Luis Heel, Game 5 of the season against the Diamondbacks, he's not even on the roster until that start. So they don't start with him on the roster. They start with a different reliever on the roster, and then Game 5 they bring up Heel. He pitches. He throws 5 innings shutout, 60 pitches. He's just absolutely dominates, but it's kind of like smoke and mirrors dominant against the Diamondbacks. and then they send him straight down to the minors and for another reliever, and then maybe there's days off, so they don't need a Game 5 start until like Game 12 of the season again. And then they bring up like they have like they do like a bullpen game because the next day is a day off also because it's like some like weird scheduling thing, and so just like mix and match the 5 starter if they want to do that. The bullpen games kill me though. No, so Luis Heel, and then what? Like Will Warren will start that Game 12 thing, and again 5 innings, send him straight fucking down. And then the next day, and then you bring up Heel again. Like you can just do 2 different guys. Just keep, if they have options, just up and down, up and down, up and down. And you're gonna be just fine. And then the Yankees are gonna have a good rotation, and they're gonna win the World Series this year. So that's my prediction: is that the Yankees are gonna win the World Series, and then also next, and that's forever. So they're gonna win every World Series for the rest of time. That's my prediction for this coming season, and I'll see you next week, everybody. We will have a guest of some kind, but today was a solo episode, and I just like talking about Yankees, and that's and I'm gonna do that. And sometimes I prefer it because I just wanna vent. I want to vent about these fucking Yankees. Talk to my people here about the Yanks. But that's the show, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Good night. Bye.